Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? Welcome to the Chakra UI crash course. Now, what is Chakra UI? Chakra UI is a simple, modular, accessible component library for React applications. Or in simple words, it's just a UI framework. Now, what is an UI framework anyway? An UI framework is kinda like these bags. These bags are full of money, and we all want this kind of bags, don't we? An UI framework is kinda like these bags, but instead of money, an UI framework is filled with pre-styled components and utilities that you can use to build your website. So why would you want to use an UI framework? Well, writing everything from scratch sucks, really sucks. It takes a lot of effort and also takes a lot of time. So if you need to make something really quickly, then using an UI framework is a great option. Maybe you suck at design like me. UI frameworks are really well designed, so you don't have to worry about them. Or maybe you don't even like CSS. You want to stay away from CSS as much as you can. Okay, so this could be the reasons for choosing an UI framework. Now, what are some other popular frameworks available? Well, there are a bunch of UI frameworks available. These are the most popular UI frameworks: Material UI, nDesign, and React Bootstrap. Chakra UI is also very popular. I also have a video series about Material UI basics. It's a little bit old, but still you can check that out. I'll put the link on the description. So why would you ever choose Chakra UI? Well, Chakra UI designs are really beautiful. It has lots of components and utilities, more than enough to build a beautiful website. And also Chakra UI is very customizable, and we will see that in this video. And also it is very easy to use. For example, if you want to create a feature to toggle color modes between dark and light, you can do that with Chakra UI very easily. Maybe it takes about 10 lines of code, and you will see how easy it is to use Chakra UI. And what are the requirements? Well, Chakra UI is a UI framework for React, so you have to know React and JavaScript. You don't have to be advanced in them, but basics are required. And also it will be very helpful if you know Next.js, which is a React framework. And I'm going to use Next.js in this video. If you want to use Create React App or something else, you can still do that. Doesn't really matter here. And also the final thing that I want to tell is I'm not going to create any kind of project in this video. I'm going to show you how to use these components and utilities, how to customize things with silly examples, but that will give you a basic idea to get started with Chakra UI. But if you want to learn how to create a project with Chakra UI, don't worry. I'm creating a video series about how to create a blogging website with Chakra UI and Next.js. So this is the app that we are going to build in that series. You can see that the dark mode feature is enabled by default, and all of these pages are static page. And if I click on this blog, it will take me to the blog page, and the blog page is totally static. By using the static site generation feature of Next.js, it also has a view counter. And in the blog, you can embed other things like GitHub Gist. It also has code blocks with syntax highlighting. You can also embed YouTube videos in your blogs. And you can also toggle the color mode by clicking on this button. You can see it is very beautiful. And the final thing that I want to show you is the search feature with auto completion. If I click on this, you can see we have an input box. And if I type something, you can see that it gives me auto completion. And that is really good. So if you're interested, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the video when I will upload them. So without further ado, let's get started. Let me give you a quick introduction of mine. My name is Anjan. I'm a full stack web developer who can develop complex web applications from UI to backend systems. You can watch my work by visiting my portfolio website thatanjan.me. Then just go to projects. And here you'll see all of the projects that I have worked on. I'm looking for a new opportunity in a company where I can provide great value with my skills and knowledge. So if you are a recruiter or someone who wants a new team member who can solve problems, can develop real-world application, feel free to contact me. You can reach out to me by email, LinkedIn, or Twitter. All of the links are going to be in the description just for you. Alright, enough of my introduction. Let's get straight into the tutorial. Alright guys, so I'm gonna use nextjs for this crash course. If you want to use create react app, that's completely fine, doesn't matter. So I'm going to create a brand new nextjs application. So just type npx create next app, then give your app name. I will call it Chakra UI-YT. So let's create the application. Alright, so now we have our nextjs app. Let's cd into the application Chakra UI-YT. And now we need to set up Chakra UI. This is Chakra UI website, so let's click on get started. And let's go to nextjs. And here we have the installation commands for Chakra UI. So I will copy this and I will paste it here. And I will also install another package, which is the Chakra UI icons. So let's search for icons and let's scroll down and let's click on installation and just copy this package name and I will paste it here. So let's install them. Alright, so our packages are installed. So let's open the app on our text editor. So first of all, we need to go to the pages directory and we need to open up the _app.js file. I'm going to delete the import statement and we need to import the Chakra provider from Chakra UI and we need to wrap this component by the Chakra provider. So import from Chakra -UI/React and I will import Chakra provider and I will return Chakra provider. And I will put the component inside the Chakra provider. Alright, so now we can use Chakra UI. So let's just open up the index.js file and I'll remove everything from here and I will create a new component with RFC snippet. So let's test a component from Chakra UI. So I will import a button. And if you need to import any component, you are going to import from @Chakra UI/React. Okay, so inside the divs, I'm gonna add a button, and text will be this is a button. So on another terminal, I'm gonna run the dev server with npm run dev. And here you can see we have a button from Chakra UI. Okay, so Chakra UI is also working. So I'm just going to delete this button. And the first component that we are going to learn is the text component. Text component is simple. It is just used to render text on the screen. So I will import the text component. And let's add the text component. And I will just add this is text. And here you can see we have a little text. Actually, I'm gonna separate this tab and move it to my editor workspace. Okay, so now it's looking good. So you can see that we have a text. And if I inspect this text, you can see it is using a p tag. But you can change that very easily using the as prop. So as, for example, if you want to use the section tag, you can just pass the string section. And as you can see that the tag has been changed to section. You can also pass components in the as prop, and we will talk about that later in this video. And you can customize that text component. You can pass various props. For example, if you want to change the font size, just pass the prop font size. And here you can pass the value, for example, for rem. And now you can see the text size has been changed. You can also change the color using the color prop. For example, I want the color to be red. See, the color has been changed. Now these props, the font size, color, are called style props in Chakra UI. We're going to learn about Chakra UI later in this video. Basically, style props are just a CSS property that you can use as props. For example, font size is actually a CSS property, but we can use it as a props, but in camel case. And because of style props, we can use values other than valid CSS. For example, Excel. And you can see the text size has been changed. I can also pass 3XL. And the text is now a little bit bigger than before. You can do a lot with style props, and we're going to learn about them later in this video. In text component, we can use something called Trinket Text. So let me show you. So I will just remove this text and I will use lorem ipsum of 20 words. And you can see that we have this text, but it is containing 5 lines. But you can limit the text into 1 line by using a prop called isTruncated. So I'm just going to pass isTruncated. And it takes a boolean value, and if I just pass isTruncated, that means it is true. And you can see that this is in 1 line, and the last 3 dots are representing that there are more lines. And it doesn't have to be only 1 line. If you want to display 2 lines, you don't need to pass isTruncated prop. You can just pass no of lines. And then just give a number. I will give 2. Actually, it will be camel case. And you can see that we only have 2 lines. And also these 3 dots. That means there are more text. And you can see the more available props by going to the documentation and just go to the props section. And here you will find all of the props that you can pass. Okay, so now let's see a similar component, which is called a heading component. So I'm gonna import heading, and I will delete that text, and I will insert a heading, and I'll just say this is a heading, and this is the heading text. It is using h2 tag by default, but if you want to change the tag, again you can use the as prop. I will just pass h1. And you can see that the tag has been changed, but the style of the text hasn't changed. Why is that? Well, the as prop has just changed the tag, but it hasn't changed the text style. The text style for heading component is similar to all of the tags. So if you want to change the styles, you have to do that with the style props. So let's change the font size. And I'll just pass 6XL. And you can see the text is now big. And like the text component, you can pass the similar props to the heading component. So that's why I'm not gonna bother about them here. So now let's talk about another component, which is called the box component. So I will import that. So I will add a box component. Now the box component is pretty simple. It is just a container by default, but you can use this to make much more complex layout or much more complex components. So if I just put some lorem ipsum text, you can see this is just a simple text and it is using the div tag. You can also pass the as prop. So let's see what happens if I pass a component instead of a tag name in the as prop. So I will just pass as, and the component I'm gonna pass is the heading component. So let's see what happens. Alright, so now you can see that the text are bold and the text is also big, and also the tag is h2. So what is happening here? Basically, we are using the box component just because we have passed the as prop a component, which is the heading component. So all of the styles of the heading component is passed to the box component. Well, actually, let's learn about the link tag. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this and I will import a component called link. This is not the nextjs link. This is the Chakra UI link tag. So I'm just gonna create a link. This is not a box, a link. And I'm gonna pass an href. and the link will be /about, and there is no about page on my application. And if I hover over it, you can see it is now a link. And if I click on it, it will take me to the /about route, but the about page doesn't exist. So it will give me the 404 page. So let's create the about page actually. Now, if you don't know about Next.js, in the pages directory, if you create a file, actually a JavaScript file, it will be treated as a page. So I'm going to create a file about.js. So again, I'm going to create a new component. I'm going to use the heading component here. I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. And I will remove the about text and I'll just return a heading. This is the about page. So I will just go to my home page again. So if I click on this link now, it will take me to the about page. Here it is. And you might have noticed that our page was refreshed, and that's not what we want. We want a single page application like feature from Next.js. So that's why we need to use the link component from Next.js. And we're going to create a custom component where we will combine the Next.js link component and the Chakra UI link component, because we want the features of Next.js link component like routing without any refresh, but we also want the styles of Chakra UI. So I'm going to create another directory outside the pages directory. I will call it components. Oops, not inside pages directory, outside pages directory. And inside the components directory, I'm going to create a file, link.jsx. So first I'm going to import the link tag from next link. I will call it next link from next/link. And I'll also copy the import statement of Chakra UI. So let's create a custom component, array fce. I will call it custom link. So we're going to return the next link component. So next link. And as a children, we're going to pass the Chakra UI link component. The custom link component will take some props. It will take a Chakra component. And I will tell you why it will be useful. Then it will take an href, then children, and then the rest of the props. So the next link will take the href, and we will also pass another prop, pass href. And here inside the link tag, I'm going to use the Chakra component, and I will use the children here. And let's spread all of the props in the Chakra component. Now let's go to the index.js file, and I will import the custom link from components link. And I will replace the link with custom link. And it will take another prop, which is the Chakra component prop. And I will pass text as the Chakra component. And if I hover over this, you can see it is still a link. If I click on it, and it has taken me to the about page without any refresh. And if I just inspect this, you can see that it is still using the p tag because I'm using the text component, and that p tag is surrounded by another a tag which is coming from the link tag from Chakra UI. So let me show you. So here is the Chakra component, which is the text component that we have passed, and this is the link component, the a tag that you are seeing, and the next link component is working behind the scenes. And now because we are getting a prop called Chakra component and we are using here like this, now we can create any component a link. So let me show you. For example, if you don't want a text to be a link, you want a button to be a link, and obviously it has to be a nextjs link. You can do that very easily now. Just replace the text here with button. And if I hover over this, you can see it has an underline. And if I click on this, it is taking me to the about page without any page refresh, just like normal nextjs link tag. And that's why I told you that the chakra component is really useful. Alright, so that's how you can combine nextjs link component and chakra UI link component. Alright, so now let's learn about the style props, and you have already used style props. For example, when we had used the text component, we had used some props like font size, color. These are all style props. Basically, style props are just a way to change the style using props. It also helps you to save time by providing shorthand properties. Basically, you can use almost any kind of CSS property as a prop, but you have to use that in camel case. For example, in CSS, we use font size with a dash, but here you need to use camel case. And there are tons of style props available. If I just quickly scroll through the page, you can see there is tons of style props available. Basically, you can use any CSS property as a prop. For example, if you want to give margin, I can just type margin. Then I can pass 1 rem for top and bottom and 3 rem for left and right. And you can see the button has been moved. And also let's change the background color. So background, and the color will be teal. And the background color has been changed, you can see. Now the style props also gives you some shorthand properties. For example, if you want to use margin, you don't have to use the word margin. You can just pass M, which will stand for margin. And you can see it still works. And instead of background, you can just pass BG. And it still works. Now how do you know which is the shorthand for what prop? Well, you just go to the documentation, and not every prop has shorthand property, only few of them. For example, padding, margin, backgrounds, and stuff like that. Also, you can use pseudo elements. For example, if you want to give a hover style, you can use the hover prop like this. So I will just copy it from here. And again, I will paste it here. I will just change the color from white to red. Oops, red. And if I hover over the button, you can see the effect. So you can see the style props are really useful. And this is what basically style props are. So now that we have learned about the style props, now let's learn about the theme, the Chakra UI theme, which is really important. So what is a theme? A theme is basically just a giant object where all of the styles are stored. So I will delete all of these style props for now. And this is our button component from Chakra UI. And you can see that it is already styled. Where are these styles are coming from? When we use the style props, for example, in the text component, we specify font size to XL, MD, LG, then 2XL, 3XL. But where are these values are coming from? Well, they are actually coming from the theme object. Basically, those style props, these components are inheriting styles from the theme. You can see the actual theme on the documentation. So just go to the default theme section. You can find that here on the theming section. So they are saying that the theme object is where you define your application's color palette, type scale, font stacks, breakpoints, border values, and more. Basically, all of the styles are stored inside the theme. And here on the right hand side, you can see that the sections that the theme has. And if I scroll down, you can see there is a bunch of colors you can see, and here are a bunch of other styles. So all of these are stored in the theme, and our components are just inheriting from them. Also, the style props are inheriting styles from the theme. So let me show you in the style props. If I just go to the typography section, and here you can see the prop font size here, and on the right hand side you can see there's another column called the theme key, and the theme key for font size is font sizes. Basically, it is saying that the font size prop is inheriting styles from the theme. And which part of the theme? It is from the font sizes. So in the default theme, if you go to the typography section, in the theme here you can see there is a key called font sizes, which is actually an object, and here are all of the font sizes are stored. So the font sizes values that we have used, like MD, LG, XL, then 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, all of these are stored inside this theme, and the style props were just inheriting, and that's applied to all of the style props. And if I just show you the colors, a colors key in the theme, and if I just scroll down, here is bunch of colors available, I mean the color variants available, and you can use them in the style props. So let me just show it to you. So I will here insert a heading component. This is a heading, and I will use a color prop, and I can just pass here red, but I can also use the variants that are stored in the theme, and my text editor is suggesting me these variants. For example, Breakpoint 50, Breakpoint 100, Breakpoint 200, and so on. And now it is a red color, but it's different shade of red. And if I go to the style props and go to colors, where is color? Here is the color. And here you can see it is color prop, and it is inheriting from the colors of the theme. And here we can see that it is the red 200 variant, and we are using the same color for our text. So here you can see the style props is just inheriting styles from the theme. You can also get the theme object using a hook called useTheme. So I'm going to import that. So useTheme. And I'm going to do a console log. And I'm going to call the useTheme hook. So let's go to console. And here you can see that we have an object printed out, and it is the same object that is documented here on this web page. We have this colors object, and inside the colors object we have different type of colors, different shades of colors, then the font sizes, the same font size that we have seen earlier. Okay, so this is our default theme. Now you might ask a question that, can we customize the theme? Of course we can, and it is pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to create another file. I will call it theme.js. Let's close these files. Customizing the theme is pretty easy. So if I just go to customize theme section, to customize the theme, we need to use this function, extend theme. I will copy this and I'll paste it here. And let's create a theme object, const theme. And here I'm going to call the extend theme. And the extend theme will take an object as argument. This object will be merged with the default theme object. It will not override. So I'm going to create a font sizes object. And inside the object here I can specify my custom font sizes. So for example, I want to create a new font size key. I will call it custom 1, and the value will be like 10 rem. And I also want to change the value of the SM key, so SM, to 1.3 rem. And inside the object I will just pass the font sizes. Okay, so I'm now gonna export the theme. And now we have to go to the app.js file, and let's import the theme from /theme. And the Chakra provider component here basically makes sure that the default theme is available to all of the children components. To add our custom theme, we need to add a theme prop, and we're gonna pass the theme. Oops, it should be lowercase t. Now let's go to index.js and let's delete the color prop. And let's add a font size prop. font size, not sizes. And here I'm gonna pass our custom font size, which is custom 1. And you can see the font size has been changed. It is huge because in the theme we have specified the custom one to be 10 rem. I will just refresh this page. And here we have the theme object. And if I expand this and go to the font sizes, here we have the custom 1 font size, and also the SM is 1.3 rem, just like we have specified. Previously it was, I guess, doesn't really matter. And like I've told you, our theme will be merged, not overwritten. That's why we still have the other properties. So this is how you customize the theme. And now let's finally learn about how to add a dark mode feature to our project. So I'm going to close this file. And also I'm going to remove the font size prop. I don't need this. So let's just create another file in the components directory. I will call it toggle mode.jsx. Again, let's create our component. I need to import some components, so import. I'm going to import a component called icon button from @chakra UI react. And I'm gonna add the icon button. It will be self-closed component. And I need to import 2 icons. I've already installed the icon package. And if you want to see all of the icons that are available by the package, you can just go to the icon page of the documentation. And here you'll find all of the icons that are available. So I'm just gonna copy this line, this import statement, and I'll paste it here. I don't need these components. I need the moon icon and the sun icon. And here we need to pass the icon prop, the icon that we want to use. So I'm just gonna pass the moon icon for now. And here I will import the component. So import toggle mode btn from /components/toggle mode. And here I will use the toggle mode button. And here is the little button with an icon. Now to change the color mode, we need to use a hook called use color mode. So use color mode, and let's call the use color mode. Actually it will return an array. I guess it's an array. So let's see the documentation. Actually it gives us an object, so I'm just gonna copy this line. Okay, so this color mode, this is a state, and this toggle color mode, this is like a set state. The color mode value will be either light or dark, and we can change that with the toggle color mode function. We can use a ternary operator here. So if color mode is equals to dark, then we want the sun icon. Else we want the moon icon. And now we need to pass the onClick function. So onClick, and we just need to pass the toggle color mode. So now let's click on this button, and as you can see that our color mode has been changed. See, that is really good. So let's change it to dark mode again, and let's refresh. And you can still see the dark mode is enabled. Why is that? Basically, when you change the color mode, it creates a key in the local storage. So let me show you. In the Chrome based browsers, just go to application, and here you can see that we have a new property which is called the Chakra UI color mode, which is set to dark. If I toggle it, now it is set to light, and that's how it remembers which color mode to display. Now you can specify a color mode for the user when he or she will first visit the web page, and that is pretty easy to do. So in the documentation, just go to the updating the theme config. Here you can specify the initial color mode in the theme. So let's just open up the theme file, theme, And let's create a config variable, which will be an object. And here you can pass the initial color mode key, which is set to light by default. I'm going to set it to dark. And I'll pass the config here. And let's just delete the key from the local storage. And let's refresh the page. And you can see that we have dark theme enabled by default. And if I toggle it, now it creates a new key in our local storage. So that's all I wanted to show you about the color mode. And you can see that it is pretty easy to change the color mode. You just need only one hook to change the color mode, okay? Alright, so now that we have learned about the color modes, let's learn about the responsive styles with Chakra UI, how to use breakpoints and things like that. If you go to the responsive styles page, here you will learn how to add responsive styles to your web page. Actually, it is pretty easy. Chakra UI uses min width media query for mobile first design. It has the Chakra UI has some default breakpoints in their theme, but you can also create breakpoints like this. And actually these are the default breakpoints. So let's see how we can use these breakpoints. First we will learn how to use these breakpoints using style prop. So I'll go to index.js. And again I'm gonna change the font size of heading. So I'm gonna add a font size prop. Font size. And all this time we have passed a string. But to make it responsive, you can pass an array or an object. So first, let me show you an array. In the array syntax, you can pass different values for the breakpoints. And the order of the values will matter. Here's how it works. Whatever the breakpoints you give or it has, the Chakra UI sorts those breakpoints by their values in ascending order, small to big. And there's another breakpoint which is called the base breakpoint, which starts from 0 pixels or 0 amps or 0 rams, whatever you say. So here you can see that we have passed an array of values, and the order of values will be applied to the order of breakpoints. So the value 300 will go to the base breakpoint, which starts from 0, which is the first one actually in ascending order. And then we have the 400, which will go to the SM because it is the second smallest breakpoint. And then the 500 value, it will go to the MD because it is the third smallest breakpoint, and it will keep going on, okay? And if you want to script any breakpoint, you have to pass null. So let me show you in the demo. So here I'm gonna pass 2 rem for the base breakpoint, then 4 rem for the SM breakpoint, and 6 rem for the MD breakpoint. And I will shrink the browser screen. You can see it is now using 2 rem, and if I increase the browser screen again, oops, now the font size has changed, and if I do that again, it doesn't change because we haven't reached another breakpoint, and now the font size has been changed again. And if I just inspect this, here you can see all the media queries: min width 48 rem, font size of 6 rem, min width 30 rem, font size of 4 rem. And if you want to skip any breakpoint, you just pass null. Now the 4 rem should belong to the MD breakpoint. And see, it is still using the 2 rem because on the SM breakpoint, it is still using the 2 rem. So let's change the screen width, and you can see it is working again. Alright, so that's how you can use responsive values using arrays. And this is really helpful when you want to make a font size responsive for all the screen sizes. You can just pass an array of values. For example, here on the documentation, let me scroll down. And here you can see we have an example with the box component and in the font size, and it has passed an array of values, which makes the font responsive. Let me show you another method, which is the object syntax. I think the object syntax is much more readable because we have the keys, and with the keys, we can know what value belongs to which breakpoint. So here on the object, we have specified the key as our breakpoint name, which is base, which is equals to 24 pixels, MD to 40 pixels. So I'll copy this value. and I will paste it here, and I will delete this one, and let's resize the screen. You can see that the font size is now changing according to the breakpoints that we have given. And that's how you can make any component responsive. And finally, let's see how we can create our custom breakpoints. So we need to import another function, which is, let me see, this one, create breakpoints from Chakra UI theme tools. I will copy this and I'll paste it here. And let's create a new variable, const breakpoints. And I will call the create breakpoints function, which will take an object. And here I can pass my custom breakpoints. Again, I will call it custom1. And the value will be like 700 pixels. And the SM breakpoint will be 200 pixels. And let's add the breakpoints to our theme. So breakpoints. Let's go to index.js and let's use the color prop instead of font size. So color, I'll use an object. So base will be red, then SM will be green, and custom one will be yellow. So let's see. It's not working. The color hasn't changed. It should work. I did everything right. Okay, so the breakpoints variable name has to be our lowercase. It can be camel case. So I will just change it to lowercase. I will delete this. Now it should work. Okay, so now it is working. Let's decrease the window. And now you can see on the small screen, the color is red. If I increase that, it becomes green. Let's increase more. And now you can see the color is yellow and the browser screen width is 750 pixels, which is more than 700. And here is the breakpoint, you can see. So we have successfully customized our breakpoint. So now that we have learned how to make our website responsive, so the final thing that I want to show you is the SX prop, which is pretty similar to style props. In style props, you pass every style as a prop, but with SX prop, you can pass an object, and inside the object, you can specify all of the styles. So I will delete the color prop. Instead, I'm gonna remove everything from here. Instead, I will add a box component, and here there will be two heading. This will be heading 1, and this will be, I'll copy this, and this will be heading 2. And I will add a class name to the heading 2. So class name will be head 2. I'll delete the console log. I don't need that. Now, if you want to change the background color of the box, you can use the style prop, but you can also use the SX prop. So SX, and you can use the background. So background will be red. And you can see the style has been applied. And just like style props, you can also use shorthands. So instead of background, you can just pass BG. And it still works. And you can also use the theme values. For example, if you want to have a different shade of red, for example, red.500, and you can see that the shade has been changed. You can also use pseudo selectors. For example, if you want to give some hover effect, you can do that directly from here. Basically, you have to pass a key and you have to use quotation mark for that. You have to pass the ampersand sign. I'm not really sure how it is pronounced. And then you have to give the pseudo element, which is hover, and it will be an object. And here you need to specify the styles. So again, I will change the background color and I will change it to green. So let's hover over it. And you can see the color is also changing when I hover over the element. And you can also select any kind of children using the class name, ID. I mean, the way you do in normal CSS. For example, if you want to select this heading 2 with the class name head2, you can do that. Again, you have to pass a string as a key. Again, the ampersand sign. And this time you have to specify the class name head2. And let's just change the color to teal. And you can see the heading 2 color has been changed to teal. And I guess that's it for the SX prop. Whatever you can do in CSS, almost you can do that in the SX prop, but the syntax is a little bit different. That's it. That's the difference. Alright, so these are the things that I really wanted to show you in this video. Again, these were silly examples, but this will give you the foundation to get started with Chakra UI. So if the video has been helpful for you, at least you have learned something new, please like this video. And if you're interested about the blogging project video series, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the video when I will upload them. So that's it. Have a nice day and goodbye.